Marlene had lived alone for years. Her children had long since moved away, and her husband passed quietly in his sleep 5 winters ago. The house, once filled with laughter and warmth, now felt hollow. She spent her days tending to her garden and sitting in the rocking chair by the window, watching life pass by. One rainy evening, as she made her way to the mailbox, Marlene heard a soft whimper. Looking around, she saw a dog, thin, dirty, and soaking wet, with large, pleading eyes. She knelt down, hesitated for a moment, and then reached out a trembling hand. The dog, a scruffy brown mutt, inched closer, then licked her hand. There was no collar, no sign of a home. Without a second thought, Marlene stood and guided the dog inside. She named him Charlie. At first, he was skittish, hiding in corners and darting away whenever she tried to pet him. But over time, their bond grew. Every morning, Charlie would sit by the door, waiting patiently for Marlene to fill his bowl. In the evenings, he'd curl up beside her in the rocking chair as she read her books, his soft breathing a quiet companion in the stillness of the house. One winter afternoon, as the first snowflakes fell, Marlene sat in her chair, sipping tea. Charlie was resting at her feet, his head resting on her slippers. She glanced at the empty chair across from her, the chair that used to belong to her husband, and felt a warmth spread through her chest. Charlie lifted his head and looked at her, as if sensing her thoughts. His brown eyes locked with hers, full of understanding. It wasn't the same as before, she wasn't alone anymore. Charlie was there. And, somehow, that was enough. Marlene smiled, her heart fuller than it had been in years. They weren't just two lonely souls. They had found each other, and in that, there was a quiet kind of love that spoke louder than words.